The Laowa 9mm f2.8. Is it good? Is it not good? I tested this lens for the last couple of weeks and here is a short review about it. Hello and welcome back here to another video on my channel. At my channel you will find lens reviews of different Sony E-mount lenses just like this Laowa 9mm f2.8. I got this lens from Big Photo for free for testing it out, but sadly I have to send it back after finished testing it. But I will mention also the positive as well as the negative aspects of the lens. But first let's take a look how it comes packaged. Here's the box. It's very nice and small and it looked very good. But first let's take off this paper on the side. We don't need it. Here's the box itself. Here stands C&D Dreamer 9mm f2.8 Compact Dreamer 0D. This lens should have very little distortion, also if it is a 9mm lens. On the front the same information again. Here we have a scheme of the lens with all elements. On the back a QR code here again. And yeah, that was it. On the bottom, Sony E-mount, because I ordered this lens for my Sony a6000, which films right now. But now let's open up the box, and it is a really nice mechanism for opening the box. Very different to the normal way to open. That's why I really like it. At first, some paperwork for the lens. We don't need it, as well as the warranty card, which is included in the box. But here is the lens itself and it looked really nice. It's nice presented in the box, so let's pull it out. The lens is very small, compact, looks very nice. The black finish with the small blue ring is very nice. It's built fully out of metal, feels very robust, so my first impressions are really good. The front element is a little bit bulbed, but it's normal for a 9mm lens. And yeah, no electronic connections because this is a manual focus lens only. And yeah, maybe you could see the aperture blades on the back here. And yeah, so far to the unboxing. My first impression of the lens was very good. The lens is built fully out of metal, the barrel is out of metal, the lens hood is out of metal and also the mount is out of metal. As I speak from the mount, it is a manual focus only lens, that's why there are no electronic connections. The lens feels as it built as a tank. It is very robust, it has some weight to it also if the lens is very small and compact. So the lens have two rings on it, one for the focus and one for the aperture. Also, if the lens isn't as big, the rings are very nice separated, so you can't bump them by accident. The focus ring reaches from 0.12 of a meter till 0.5 of a meter till infinity, within nearly a half turn. The aperture ring goes from 2.8 to f11 and then directly to f22. So the working with this lens is very nice. The focus ring has a nice resistance. It's very nice to work with it. The aperture ring is yeah, kind of new for me. I never had such an aperture ring before. Normally an aperture ring have clicks or have no clicks. This ring is kind of in the middle. You have some clicks at the aperture points, like 2.8, 4, 5.6, but they are not real distinct points. It's more like a magnet which fits together, so if you turn it fast enough, you don't have really clicks. So maybe it is also something for video makers. There are only two negative aspects with the working with this lens, especially with one you struggle at the beginning. The 9mm are extremely wide angle, so it can happen that if you focus, your finger is in the frame and you hold the lens, because the lens is tiny, maybe a bit too far in the front, so your finger is also in the frame. Maybe you don't notice it while you take the picture, but afterwards, latest on the computer, you will see it and it doesn't look nice. Another problem is with the lens hood. It is nice built, no question about that. But it don't fits real stiff into place. There's no click, so it's very easy to bump the lens hood from its place, turn it a slight bit around, and then you have both corners of the lens hood in the frame as a heavy vignetting on the edges, and also that don't look nice. But you have to stick with the lens hood, but why, I will tell you later. But all in all, I'm very happy with the working with this lens, but the best lens isn't any good if the image quality isn't good as well. So now let's take a look how good the image quality is, and here I show you some sample pictures at first I took with this lens over the last couple weeks. So what are your thoughts about the image quality? Let me know down in the comments. I noticed one thing immediately after reviewing the pictures. Yes, there is some distortion to the lens. It is a 9mm lens, but not as much as I thought. Yes, Laowa claimed that this lens is a zero distortion lens. Yeah, no really, but for a 9mm lens there's very little distortion. So I'm very impressed by this point, and it is very good. The sharpness in the center is good even at f2.8. If you step down to f4 or f8 it gets even better. After f11 it gets a bit worse. In the corners, yeah, at f2.8 it is okay, it is not really sharp, but if you step down to f4 or f8 it gets really sharp. The bokeh is good for a 9mm lens also if there isn't much. But if you go to the closest focus distance, really close to the subject, yes, there is some smooth background and it looked really nice. Also, the sun star is very nice. But with the sun comes the biggest problem of the lens. It has no problems at all with chromatic aberrations, but it has heavy problems with lens flares. So if you point the lens in any direction near to the sun, it gets heavy lens flares in the frame, and this doesn't look good. It could be because of the bulb front element, I don't know, maybe it's a bad coating, but otherwise the chromatic aberrations are very less. So I don't know why it is so bad, but it is so bad. So if you don't want to photograph directly in the sun, all is fine, but if you want to photograph in the sun, yeah, you have to deal with the lens flares, and they will be there. And for that reason you have to stick with the lens hood and hope that the lens hood protects the front element a bit more, and it is also there for a physical aspect, because the front element isn't out of the barrel but it is nearly at the bottom, so it is very good if you have some more protection here that nothing can bump into the front element. If I spoke of that, I was very impressed that this lens have a filter thread, and so you can attach filters directly. Some other companies don't fit something like that into a 12mm lens. So here a big plus point for Laowa. But is this lens worth the about 550 bucks it cost? And yeah, for a normal hobbyist or amateur photographer, not really. If you photograph landscapes, something like that, 9mm is a bit too wide. And yeah, you have cheaper alternatives which are better. So in this case, maybe consider the 12mm of Samyang. it is about half the price, maybe a bit more, and you have an f2 lens. So here I think you have some better options. But if you want to have this 9mm look with a very, very close minimum focus distance, like here, 12 centimeter, it isn't as much. Then you have to got this lens. And there is another group of photographers which this lens is really, really nice. And these are the photographers which are photograph indoor, the rooms, apartments, hotels, something like that. And here you have with the 9mm very nice field of view, so you can put nearly the whole room in one picture, and because of the low distortion, it is a really, really nice picture and also a sharp picture, because this lens is sharp if you use it at f4 or f8. So this lens is built mainly for persons which like it, 9mm look at a close focus distance, or for real estate photographers which photograph most times indoor and photograph rooms or something like that. For all other photographers, the 12mm f2.0 from Samyang is the better choice. And yeah, what are your thoughts about this lens? Let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, that was my review. We see you next time. Bye bye.